Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. So today I want to talk with you about just some really deep thoughts that I've been having about perspective shaping reality. And I've kind of got a couple of notes here that came to me last night when I was trying to fall asleep, which is a time that I usually get downloads, is like when you're starting to fall asleep and your like human mind or the ego and those like defenses kind of all just go to rest, and then you feel a lot more open. That's when I do a lot of receiving. So this was all like coming through so strongly yesterday. It ran through my mind a few times to the point where I had to like grab my phone and take a few notes, and that was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm just like on my phone taking these notes, but I just thought that, you know what, it was worth sharing. And I feel like whenever I just share from the heart what I'm thinking about, what I've been, like pondering and like whatever's going on with me. And I share that. You always come back with comments saying that, you're going through similar things, or you've been thinking about similar things and all of that. So that's why I always like to share. So let's jump into it. Actually, before we jump into this video, and again, this is, it's about a few different things, but ultimately it is about, perspective shaping reality. Okay. But just before we jump in, I do want to say to remember, please, to like this video, give it a thumbs up, share this video. That really helps the channel. I love when you share these videos so that other people can find me and resonate with me and find these messages. It's so helpful to awakening souls. And then if you want to subscribe to the channel for new videos every Sunday. Okay. All right. So I want to start out by talking about the light. So when I say the light, I mean like the light, like God source, or, everybody has a different word for it. God, source, the universe. I mean, maybe you can let me know below, what is your term that you use? I find it really powerful to create a personal connection with that light, because it is a soul. Okay. Like it is a being. I do feel like this being is like the creator, has a personality, someone that you can get to know, someone that you can develop a personal relationship with. And I encourage you to do that. I believe in this soul being like a higher power, right? I'm not religious at all, but I do feel it there. And that can really like ground you and anchor you too. It can be really helpful to have that faith. So here's why I want to talk about this. So the light is all things. It's all things. It's not just one thing. It's not just my version of the light or your version of the light. It's all perspectives. It's all things. And I really started thinking about this because I'm currently listening to, I don't say reading this book because it's an audiobook. So technically I'm listening to the book, The Sophia Codes. And if somebody could let me know, if you've read it, down below, what did you think? Because I'm too early on in it to know really what I think yet. Like I don't have an opinion quite yet. I'm still quite early on, but I know that this book has a lot of like opinions on far sides. Like people either love it or they're very triggered by it. So that's really interesting. But I really think it's interesting so far how this author, and I don't even remember her name, but the book is called The Sophia Codes, how this author views the light. It comes to her so strongly as a soul, as a person named Sophia. And I believe in the book, Sophia says to the author of the book, I am the mother creatrix of all things. And it becomes such a real person to her. It's so powerful. It's so real. It's like she knows that it's the truth through and through, right? So that is her light. But for me, how my light shows up is very different. So for me, I call God source Baba. And Baba, it's Baba. Baba can be grandmother spirit or grandfather spirit. And my visuals of that are actually of like two souls, a grandmother and a grandfather. And I often when I go up to source, it actually feels like I'm going to going home. And it, like, to me, it appears as this like beautiful warm cabin at the edge of the universe. And when I go there, like, there's a fireplace and a couch and a kitchen. And when I need guidance, I go to Baba, and it's like a grandfather and a grandmother. So like Papa and Mama almost, and they like sit on either side of me, and they're so loving. It's so real. It's and it's growing with time, my relationship with this like being that to me shows up as two people. So the interesting thing then is that the light is all things. Okay. So however it shows up to you, God source or whatever, again, whatever word you like, however that shows up for you, it's true. Like every perspective of it, every experience with it is the truth. And it's because like different people have different needs and different perspectives. But it just, like the point then being like, it doesn't mean that one is false and one is true if they're all true. So again, that point is like the light is all things. So within the light, this soul, this being, this higher being, this creator soul is the ability to show up as what you need it to show up as. And what you need it to show up as is not a false costume. It is just another aspect of this being that is all things. So whatever your needs are, that's how it shows up. But it's real. Like how it shows up is actually a real aspect of it and a side of its personality or truth. So hopefully that's making sense. So like the light is all things. And then what you call forward is what you need and what your perspective is. So then this leads me to think about, I mean, a lot of things, because how many people argue about what God is or isn't? And how many people are so certain because they have personal experiences? Maybe they have a vision like the woman that wrote the Sophia Codes. It was a really powerful experience that shaped her life. Maybe they have, like me, a genuine, real connection and a relationship that grows and grows and grows over time with what their version of the light is. And so nobody is right or wrong. And so then it just makes so much sense to me, like why people would be so like, okay, so like, for instance, the girl that wrote the Sophia Codes, I really feel like it's early on in the book again, like I said, so I'm not going to like review it or judge it yet, but I do really feel like she's trying to push on others, like her version of the light. And she's like, this is the truth. This is the absolute truth. And she can't see that it's her truth. And maybe some people's truth that would resonate with, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's everyone's truth, though it's amazing to share your truth and very interesting and people can learn from it. It doesn't make it their truth, right? Like it's not my truth, but I find it really, really like it's cool. It's interesting. I want to hear about these experiences that people have. And so then your perspective then is shaping what comes forward from you out of the light and the shape or the form that it takes on. Right. And so then here's a question for you to ponder. Does your perspective determine your universal experience? And if that's the case, then it's not just about how the light shows up in the form that it takes. It's everything. So really, are we all living in a universe of our own perspective? And that's why there are so many versions of that universe. And so here's an example of that. Like there are a lot of people that will tell you that the universe is 12 dimensions. But I have had very real experiences with up to 14 dimensions. And I think it's much bigger than that because we know that the universe is expanding and it can go further and further and further. It's expanding this way. It's expanding this way. It's always constantly expanding. But there are all of these like very revered spiritual teachers and books that you can find where they like say, no, it's 12. It's 12 dimensions. And that's their truth with it. Like they've gone like, obviously, like, I don't know, maybe astral traveling or channeling or meditating, however they've gotten their information, that's the truth that continues to come forward for them. It continues to be confirmed, and they've had multiple experiences confirming that. However, then there's me, who has continually had experiences higher than 12. Like I've seen the 14 dimensions, I've visited them. I would say 12, 13, and 14 are angelic dimensions, but there's different realms of angels because there's different kinds of angels. There's like the archangels, the seraphim angels, the cherub angels. There's different kinds, right? So anyway, that's just a small example of how my perspective, is it my perspective then shaping that reality and creating those extra dimensions? Or is it my perspective unlocking those extra dimensions? And what is it? What is the difference there? It's not just perspectives, because it's not just like thoughts. Then they turn into real experiences for people that are, only see 12 or see 14. Another example about this perspective creating the reality is that I can look at somebody with like 3D programming, and it looks to me like it's trapping them. Like it's we can use like a box for an example, like they're trapped inside of this box of 3D programming and they can't see beyond it. And to me, that looks like not a good thing. Like they're trapped in it. It's prison, it's limiting. But for that person in that experience, what they are experiencing is that it is protecting them. It is protecting them. It is comforting them. It is as far as they are ready to go. And so it holds them safely in that embrace. So that's two very, very different perspectives for one thing. So to me, it's going to be viewed as a method of like a limiting, controlling power or force. And to them, it's like a warm embrace. It's comfort. It's home. So like, again, the perspectives are creating the reality. So this is why it is just so important to be open-minded and to understand that your perspective is never going to be wrong, but that means that no one else's is wrong either. So this is really like breaking down a larger understanding of what oneness is too, into like these small steps where we understand that all perspectives are truth. Because every single powerful soul is a creator. We are all creator souls because we come from a creator. So we are pieces of that. And so then we are mini creators, and we are creating through our perspectives, what we expect to happen, what we believe, what we think we'll see. It's creating the realities. So there's all of these realities living harmoniously together. So that leads to the next question. And like, this is just like a thread. Like, if you could see my notes, it's so funny. Like, cause I wrote this out at like 2:32 a.m. last night. It's just on my phone here, but it like one question led to a deep truth, which just leads to always another question, right? So then what does that deep truth lead to? But another question that is, if we are all from the light, why are we so different? Why would we be so different? And I can just say, like, obviously, there are many reasons why we are so different. And we'll talk about a little bit about those. But I just want to touch on quickly before we talk about what makes people so different or their perspective so different. I want to say that we are all from the same source, right? So we are all family. We are all brothers and sisters. If you can visualize the light, the source, God, whatever word you like, Baba, like for me, being like an ultimate source of light, potential creation, and then having like a little tiny piece of that to create a soul. A soul is like an energy orb formed around a speck of golden or white. If you see white, I always see gold. A lot of people see source as white light. I see a lot of gold. Again, this is a perspective thing. Nobody's right or wrong. But that speck of life force energy that animates the soul, gives it consciousness, gives it intelligence, gives it the personality and the memories and life. That's the speck of light at the center, the core. And then the soul is like these like energy orb or aura around that. So if you saw a soul, it looks like a little orb. Actually, so here's perfect lead into me. My experiences with seeing souls. Now, this does not happen very often. Okay. I think this is a gift when it happens, and it's very rare. So the first time I saw a soul was when a dear friend of mine passed away. She passed away in front of me, and oh, wave of emotion just came up there. And I remember closing her eyes and her mouth and touching her face and just gazing at her and being grateful that her journey of pain, because she was sick, was over. And it took a little bit. I'm going to say like within 2 to 3 minutes, her face changed and it started to glow. And like, I wasn't the only one in the room. Did you just see that? Did you just see that giant orb fly past me? When I said that, I think it was her. Oh my God, that was so beautiful. Oh, okay. Her face changed and it started to glow. And there was one other person in the room, and it was so powerful that I turned to them and I was like, are you seeing this too? And they were like speechless, like, yeah, oh my God. It glowed this, like the whole face just started glowing the color of powdered sunlight, the softest yellow I have ever seen. It was so powerful. It was soft, but it was also bright. And it like glowed so brightly that it was like coming out of the face. Like as it rose up to leave the body, this soul, it glowed so brightly with this soft, powdered, beautiful yellow. It grew brighter, 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 brighter. And then as the soul left, it faded, 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 faded. And then it really looked different, the body without the soul with inside. The soul had left. And it really looked like empty or different. That was my first experience seeing a soul. And that was so real. It was, I mean, I wasn't the only one that saw it, and this other person wasn't spiritual at all. And they saw it too. Like it was just real. The second time was not that long ago. I was doing a healing for a client, and not a reading, a healing. So a healing, like when I'm deep inside the body, I'm making adjustments and I'm changing things and I'm deep in there. And when I got to the heart, I was doing some work on the heart. That was fine. And then I came up a little bit. And before I got to the throat chakra, in between the heart and the throat, which is the center for the high heart, at the back, like so near the very back of their body, their soul was there. That's where it was inside the human body. That's where it was residing, in the high heart, which is in between here and here at the back. And it was emotional. I remember trying not to cry because it was such a gift. I felt blessed. It was a rainbow aura. That's the only way to describe it. It was this little tiny ball of light. It was small. It was this little tiny ball of light that fit right back there. It had a spot where it was living, and it was a rainbow, and it had 2 little fairy wings off the back. And I was like, even your soul has wings. Like, you are such a fairy. This person was like, had a lot of fairy energy. It was so powerful. So anyway, I digress. That's the 2 times that I've seen souls for real. So when a soul comes in from source, it is a bare light bulb. It doesn't have any beliefs, any lifetimes, any memories. It's bare, it's pure, it's white light, a plain light bulb. And then as you have lifetimes, incarnations, the experiences within those lifetimes become filters to your soul. And so if you had a bare white light bulb, you could visualize each filter being like a piece of very thin cloth that you lay over the light bulb. So the light is still shining through, but now the colors change to red. And then your next experience, what color was that? And you place it over. And it's like a light bulb with all of these filters being draped over it or placed over it. And now when people look at you, they see all of those filters, not just the pure soul. They see your actions, your lifetimes, your personality, your words. They see all of that, how you physically look. And when you look out at the world, you see through all of that too, right? So it goes both ways. That's what makes different perspectives. So what that means is that this person, maybe there's somebody in your life that is frustrating and triggering to you. Maybe they have extremely different views on spirituality, religions, politics, whatever. And it's maybe you find it really triggering and you're like, how can you feel that way? How can you think that way? But you started out the same. And then you had filtered lifetimes created filters over you. So what I want you to know is in your heart and in their heart, they believe, both of you believe that you're doing what is right. Everybody is truly doing their best. They believe that they're doing what is right. And when you get past the filters underneath, you feel the same. They feel pain as you feel pain. They feel shame or embarrassment as you feel shame or embarrassment. They feel self-doubt. We are so the same, right? Like, and think about if you went through their life and had all the exact same filters, you would be them, right? Depending on reactions to things would change filters slightly, but very similar. So just think about that when you look at your brothers and sisters and your neighbors. We're so similar. Only the filters are different. And those are like, your lifetimes and your choices and your experiences. And it's not really anybody's fault. And these light bulbs with filters are the soul, the pure soul underneath, with beliefs on top, perspectives. And so what we're learning, what I'm learning and have been talking about since the beginning of this video is that those perspectives or those filters are what are creating your experiences, your universe, your reality. And so then that makes personal truth, each personal truth together is the ultimate truth. So the ultimate truth of the universe and how it works and what it is all of the personal truths added together like a math equation. And that's it, because the light is all things. So I know that's really deep, but I hope that that's really like hitting home for some of you and resonating. And so then here's a couple of more questions maybe to leave you with. Is your truth all that matters? Is your personal truth all that matters? Is there an ultimate truth? What would that look like? How can you arrive to an ultimate truth and grow bigger than your own personal truth? And then also, like, what's real if perspective is creating reality? If my reality is created by my perspective and this person's reality is created by their perspective, then what's reality? What's the truth? Is there also one ultimate reality that encompasses all personal realities, just like there's an ultimate truth that encompasses all personal truths? Is that oneness? So I'm really looking forward to reading your comments on this. And yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say today. So I'm going to leave it here, giving you a lot to ponder. And that was all the things. This is just like, that's like a normal night for me, going to sleep and then having all these things downloaded through, like, what is ultimate truth? Wait a minute, what if like, just imagine, like, that's so funny, like my monkey mind. I do want to say that I'm grateful for every single one of you here on this channel. I'm so grateful when you comment. I really love that. I love engaging with you all. If you're wanting, like, to interact with me, come over to Instagram. I have an Instagram page also called Starseed Academy, and there's different kinds of like content over there. And it's more often than this once a week here on YouTube. So find me over there on Instagram and follow me so that we can continue this conversation. And then if you're wanting to work with me, of course, as you know, check out the link in the description box. I'm still doing one-on-ones at this point, but I am moving into community settings. So I have a membership group, which is powerful. We do something every single week together. So a weekly event that reminds me, there is a little announcement about the membership group. It's right now, it's still at its introductory rate of $22 for a whole month, not per event, for the whole month. And then you get an event every single week. So what is that usually, like 4 weeks in a month? It's like 4 things a month for $22. That being said, I can't keep that rate much longer. I've yet to pick a date, but I just keep saying, like, very, very soon, I'm going to up that to $44 a month so that it's $11 an event, which is more manageable for me for the energetic exchange. It's a lot of effort that I put into it, a ton of effort. So I want to be matched with that, which is healthy for me to have these boundaries, right? So please, like, think about joining it. It's $22 a month. If you get in at that rate, it won't go up. I'm not going to do that to like the OG like members. They're so amazing. I'm not going to raise their rate. So there's 43 people in there right now. So maybe a couple more, and then I'm going to bump it up. You know what? Maybe when it hits 44, that would be like a divine sign for me to bump it up to $44, because that's like, I love numerology like that. 4444. So anyway, that being said, go check it out. And you can see it in the link. Again, if you click on the link in the description box, it'll open up this other menu and it'll be listed right there, you know, Starseed Academy membership group. You can just click on it and read about it if you're unsure. But I mean, every single person in there is always so excited, always so grateful, and are growing. Like, from the beginning of the membership to now, it's like night and day for their psychic gifts, their healing, their spiritual awareness and growth, because the events have a purpose. It's not just like entertaining, although they are entertaining. We're always doing things like workshops on channeling, psychic gifts. We're doing healings. We're making things happen over there. So if you are ready for the next level of your spiritual growth, join the membership. Other than that, if you're wanting to work with me, then you have one-on-ones. The Psychic Light training course is sold out. I'm currently in the middle of doing that with people. We're going into week 2, so I will be doing another round of it. So if you're interested in the next round, you can see it in the website. You can sign up to be on the wait list for that. Okay, so I love you all so much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being here, not just here on YouTube, but on Earth with me at this time, so that none of us have to be alone here. We didn't come here to do things alone. We came here to work together. So thank you so much for showing up. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you all. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.